today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Happy Chenford Week. In today's episode, we're talking about the underrated Chenford moments. And now these are like, in our opinions, these are specific moments that aren't necessarily talked about as much as they like should be or just are. So, they're not as much used to like hype up Chenford, like when we stress that people should watch the show.
Yeah. They're just not ones that you like automatically think of.
Yeah.
Like right away.
So, and I mean, honestly, we think that they should be talked about more. So because it's Chenford Week and everyone's sharing, all of the different like fanfics, edits, all that they've created, we figured that we would kind of talk about the moments that Eric and Melissa have created for us to watch, along with the rest of the rookie crew, and some of, their little mannerisms and everything that we just love to watch. So really the only news we have to share is that there has been a lot of behind the scenes footage, both videos and pictures, mainly from the rookie Fed set, but nonetheless, we're still getting served with all of the content. Now let's jump into the Chenford Week episode. Yeah, so the first underrated moment that I love to watch it is 106. So it just starts off right away with the cold open and Chen rolling the car. And there's just something about the way that Eric just delivers the word boot. And I think about the behind the scenes video when he, is like, you rolled the car today or whatever, and then he calls her boot. Just so good. I love it. So then, I love when they're like serving the burglary warrant and he's like testing her on the suspect and what they should look for. And he's just like, you'll have to think like a crook. And he kind of like points out that like she was raised to analyze bad guys and not be one. But like when Lucy's searching the guy's place, the suspect is like trying to hit on her, and Tim just like slaps him upside the head and makes him like get up and face the wall or whatever. And I was just thinking about the fierce protector. Like he literally did not want a single word spoken about like her appearance, like what she was doing, everything like that. So what a protective human being. And as she's like looking under the couch, he's questioning like when's the last time she hid something under the couch. And for me, like it's just the arguing and the banter kind of. So then like he tells her about the deer method, she pulls out her notepad, she's all like eager to write all of this down. And she's like, go look in the repulsive places. And she's just like, why does it have to be me? She comes out of the bedroom and bathroom later on to find Tim going through the stash. And she's just like, what are you doing? Like, how long have you had that? And he just says like bluntly, like, it took me 3 to 4 minutes to find it. Like, did you find anything? And so that kind of ends that little sequence. And then Lucy like asks him later on, like, what if he got robbed at gunpoint? Like, what would he do? And he mentions the deer method with his like empty wallet. And if he was robbed, he would drop the fake and pull his piece. And she's like, but where do you keep your cards and money then? And Tim really shouldn't have said this, but he did. And he said that he keeps a money clip behind his belt. So then like at the end of the episode, he's just like chilling at the bar, receives a phone call from Lucy. One, he's like at the bar alone, from what I can assume. And I'm just like, why? That's like no fun. And he receives a call from Lucy, who's just like, I grabbed your money clip after you had your butt kicked by Hawk. So, she's like, I'm proving to you that I can think like a crook. And she's kind of like flirty with him, wondering like how he's gonna pay for his meal or pay for his bill. And she's like, well, maybe you can do some dishes and like make sure you glove up. And it's just like it's payback for like what she went through before, but it's not as gross as what she went through before, which like I feel like for him it kind of should be. I don't know. So then he's like, you're in so much trouble right now. And you can just see the smirk on her face, and her saying like goodnight to him and everything. And it's just like so soft. And I just have to imagine like what this would be like if it happened again, but when they're actually canon.
Yeah.
You know, like what would he say to her? Because you're in so much trouble. Like it's good, but I feel like when they're canon, if this would happen again, it would be like 10 times better. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because you can, I don't, you can like take that statement and make it into a, a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just always so stuck on like, it's like the money clips behind his belt, but like where? And like
Right.
how, like just, because we don't like see it happen. So I'm just like, how
And she had
does
to
she
like
do
reach
that?
down in there. Yeah.
And like, how did he not notice anything?
Her.
Because he seems
Yeah.
like maybe not the most observant, but just like pretty in tune with like his surroundings or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they showed the little like pat on his shoulder, like when she patted him on the shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, but like how did he not notice
Yeah, I don't
that there
know.
was something like tugging at his pants or whatever? Like it just, well, and then she like reached down there. Like I just have questions and I would like to see it maybe again happen. I don't know, but it was
Yeah, I just
something.
don't. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, not that I needed to see it, but I just don't understand how it can like happen and it work out. But
I also
glad it
love
did.
that it was season 1, episode 6, and she is already like stealing the money clip from his pants.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so she really just like she's not afraid. She's gutsy. She's ballsy. Like, let's go.
Yeah,
We love her.
it's like like first prank
Yeah.
done and done.
And I love her wardrobe, her hair, all of that. I love his too. I love how it's just like they're so relaxed. But yeah, well then I'm like when she calls, like she doesn't say like, hey, it's Lucy or anything. And he just like knows. Like obviously because he hears her voice and everything. But I'm just like, we love this. We love this for them. They've been partners for 6 episodes and they already know each other like the back of their hands.
Yep.
Chef's kiss. So the next one that I had was the Chenford audiobook. So it's in 202. And at the beginning, Lucy's kind of like, she's not disgruntled, but she's kind of annoyed that she has to like read this book. And she's like, you could drive, like I could drive and you could read it to yourself. And Tim's like, no, like if I have to suffer, then you have to suffer too. And he's not really thrilled that she's reading the book either, but like he shares that he memorizes it best when he hears it. So this kind of his reasoning for having her help him out too. And she's kind of speechless, and Tim's just like, why? Like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, you might just have a learning difference. Like, it really just means that you're wired to process information differently. And he's like, I don't have one of those. And Lucy brings up Isabel and says, she might have helped you a lot through the academy. He just shuts that down real quick. And Lucy can even see that he's obviously not wanting to talk about it. It's affecting him in some other way that she doesn't totally like understand or like grasp right away.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the episode, like we see him in the gym, and he's like kickboxing or whatever, or boxing. And season 2 was really the season of Chenford in the gym and the other crashing the workout. Like, can we get that again? Where did that go? I mean, that gym is still there. We need to see it. We need to see like Lucy working out again, or Tim, like whichever one, I don't care. And just like the other coming in.
I could see them being like whenever they do like become canon, not that they'd actually do this on the show because I'm sure it's very difficult to do, but those like TikTok like couples workouts or whatever, or people do like reels on Instagram where it's like they like lift each other or like do the things. Like I could
Yeah.
totally see them doing that.
Lucy definitely wants to do a TikTok, and Tim's like, no, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But she gets
Yeah.
him to do it eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He's so
Tim definitely just does not, well, they call it clip talk in the
Oh
rookie.
yeah, clip talk, yeah.
And Tim just, I mean, he would be one that would just be like, that is a waste of time. Like, no, we're not doing that. But yeah, no, I need gym scenes again. Season 5. And I mean, even like one when they're canon, and you know, the one that's coming in is like, are you ready to go home or whatever, or see you at home? Like, I don't care. I don't care how it happens. I just need it. I don't even really care what is said. I just need the scene. So yeah. But I also need to know what ran through Lucy's mind when she saw his sweaty biceps, because like, oh goodness. Oh goodness. But she like kept her cool and like ended up handing him, I think it was an MP3 player, but then like when the show was on, like when it was season 2, it was what, 2019 or something. Like MP3 players don't really exist anymore, so I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't know if they can. I just don't know. Maybe if it's like a brand thing, you know, like they can't say
maybe.
like iPhone or well, would it? I don't even know because people don't really even use iPods
Yeah.
anymore either. So I don't know.
I mean, is there like, I mean, I know MP3s, but I don't even like, is there any other kind of device where you could just like put an audiobook or like a recording on something and it
I mean,
just be that?
aside from an actual like audiobook and make like, 10
Yeah.
CDs or whatever, no,
Yeah. Okay.
not really.
I don't
Unless
know.
it's like voice memos, but like that would take too much time too. And that would
Well,
be
and
like,
that would still have to be on someone's phone.
yeah.
I don't
So.
know. We're getting really analytical with it, but yeah. But she kept her cool and handed that to him. And she's like, I recorded an audiobook for you. I know how much like you learn better when you hear it. And she even mentions that she talked to Isabel, and it's clear that he's a kinesthetic learner. And he still doesn't look thrilled that she talked to Isabel, because why would he be? But she made him an audiobook. So that's like some true girlfriend stuff right there. And he just needs to like profess his love for her, basically. Yeah. But then like his small smile when he puts in the headphones, and then he hears her voice like reading the title, and the smile gets bigger, and he just like goes back to like boxing.
Yeah.
And it's truly just like one of the best Chenford moments. Just because like she's literally in his ear talking. Like, doesn't get any more like cute than that. But in my best Chandler from Friends voice, could he be any more in love? Honestly, that man has got it bad for Lucy Chen. He's got it bad. So those are 2 of mine. Did you want to kind of talk over yours? Maybe we can switch back and forth with it.
Oh, sure. Well, mine I kind of cheated and said like there were like a couple. I mean, like 103 was like the tiniest, littlest moment for me of just when like Lucy asks Tim if he's okay, like after I believe he punched a hole in the wall. After I'm assuming it was after like a thing with Isabel, maybe, or just like stress plus that. And just I don't know, just like the simple like act of that, and her just like coming. I remember she like comes in the door like kind of just quietly, and her voice is soft, and he's like, he doesn't like outright be like, yes, I am okay, but he's just like, yeah,
Right.
like, like shakes it off kind of. So I like that moment a lot. And then 107 I really like. Oh my god, I just thought of another one too that's so tiny, and you're gonna be like, what the hell, why? But anyway, so 107 I like a lot, just when she confronts him outside, and I just like that she was like, she's been riding with him for 2 months, and like she knows him, She
Mhm.
knows that he's, always on the right side of the law, even though he kind of projects the rogue cop thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And like, I don't know, just like there was something just about it that, yeah, I just really like. And uh she looks like really, really pretty in that scene too. I don't know what it is about that, but yeah, I think it's like one of their first like night scenes too, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. My other little tiny one though is like in 109, which I think is like an underrated episode period. But just that like they both check on each other after they both fall to the ground to avoid the array of bullets and things.
Yeah.
So
I love when they check on each other. I mean, obviously that's like the partner thing, but it's also just so comforting to know that it's like, okay, if they weren't just partners, like, would they be doing that if they were friends? Just friends. I'm
Mhm.
sure, but I don't know. It's just something that I really love to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to go over your next one?
Sure. I mean, I can. I guess, I mean, if I'm going in order, I guess like the 111 and like 208, just the parallel of the thanks for what, doing my job, like that line. I just like because it's like they're both helping each other out of like a, I don't know, just like a tricky situation. I mean, obviously, like Lucy's was different with the
Mhm.
needle in season one, but it still like is like a comforting thing. Like, and then she helped um him in 208, um, like with getting the little plaque and whatnot, and so just like
Yeah.
I don't know, just like that line kind of encompassing like they stick up for each other. They're always going to have each other's backs. They're, that's like what it means for them to be like partners. So,
Mhm.
or well, Brookie and Tio, I guess, but still, it's like they go that extra mile. Like,
Yeah.
so that's why I like that a
Yeah.
lot. And then 118, I really like just because I know it's like, well, at least for me, it's like a frequent, okay, I say GIF. I don't really know if it's called GIF or not, but I say GIF, so we're going with that.
Yeah, I say gift too, so.
But it's a frequent like GIF that I use is like Lucy looking over at Tim when they're on the like doing the paintball game, and just because like throughout the whole episode she's kind of like gotta do like something fun, and is kind of like teasing and like pressuring him to like try to figure out something, like there's got to be something he likes doing.
Mhm.
And she even like listens to him kind of go over the like paintball like strategy when they're trying to find that one player. And I just like that he because like obviously they had to have had another conversation where it's like, okay, do you want to like go do this or like
Right.
actually like really see it, see what it's like to actually like play the game versus just listening to Tim, explain it while they're just standing far away. And so it's just cool because it's like it's something fun that he enjoys, and then for Lucy to be there obviously is just like he's comfortable enough, and like Lucy
And
is,
he's having fun with it too.
yeah, he's having fun with Lucy, so
Yeah.
it's just fun. And
I feel like that was like one of their first like unofficial dates.
oh yeah, everyone called like, yeah, like
Like
quote.
even though they were technically on shift during
Yeah.
part of it, like I don't know, it was
Mhm.
definitely one of their first like unofficial dates. I mean, heck, they haven't even had a date now, like after they've
Yeah.
kissed. Like them being undercover, I don't consider that being a date because like they're
No.
working and they're not even like them actual their actual selves, like
Yeah.
their aliases. So
Yeah. Um, but
oh
yeah, I
well,
like
yes,
it.
they did have that like awkward foursome date, but
Yeah,
even then,
double
like
date.
there was other people there. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just like that scene. I kind of wish it wasn't at the very end of the episode though, the paintball scene, just because
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, I can appreciate the camera work, like the camera pulls back and you get to like kind of see them move around a little bit. But I just would have liked to know if, did like, I mean, I guess if they're on the same team, I guess they wouldn't like shoot at each other with the
Yeah.
paintball guns, but still just like, did Lucy take on more, people from the opposing team or something? Or like there's just so many things. If there is fan fiction, speaking of, if someone has like written a like what happens during it or what happens after, like
Yeah.
send it to me. I will be on vacation when you guys are listening to this, but send them to Jennifer and she'll send them to me.
Yeah, and like honestly, it's Chenford week and like this episode will drop on Tuesday. So like there's still time, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it could be done. It doesn't even have to happen during Chenford week for sure, but
that's fair.
yeah. So my next parallel was 230, wait, no. Yeah, 206. When Chenford is stuck in the store and drinking the alcohol. I don't know why I like this one. I guess just because it kind of shows like their like vulnerable sides, I guess. And Rachel like tells Tim about the wedding invite her and Lucy both just got like at the beginning of the episode and how it's going to affect her. So, she like suggests that Tim takes it easy on her. Um, which like I love that Rachel did that, but also it was kind of like bold for her to like get into Tim and Lucy's like working like partnership. Like she only knows like so much of what Lucy has told her. Like she's only heard one side of the story of how like Tim treats Lucy. Um so I
Yeah,
was just kind of like it's not really your place, but I can see why you're watching out for her.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
kind of funny that you mentioned that though, because then it's like Tim always made it a point to like tell Lucy, at least in season 2, when he and Rachel were dating, like that they don't talk about Lucy.
Yeah.
And yet, Rachel does only kind of have that one sided like perspective.
Yeah. But like also, I mean, we don't know how long Rachel and Lucy have been friends. So I mean, she's got to know Lucy pretty well as far as like knowing how she'll spin out and everything. Um, but then Tim's just like, yeah, no, Chen is my rookie, not my friend. Like my job is to train her, not to help her through her messy social life. Um, and Tim's just like all, like gruff about it. And I mean, like blank like white space dialogue where it's just like yeah okay like she's just your friend, yeah, keep telling yourself and literally everyone else around you that. um but then like we see him letting her drive for the first time like or letting her drive for the first part of their shift, and like he doesn't call her out in front of people, and she's just this is when she's starting to kind of spiral out because she's like, normally when I do something wrong, you're not afraid to call it out in front of everyone. And he's gone kind of soft for her, and he doesn't want to be so hard on her, when he knows that she's going through a rough time. And Lucy picks up on like the fact that Rachel talked to him, and she didn't even want Rachel to talk to him. So talk to him about this. So Lucy is in the know now about why he's being like this. So, more towards the middle of the episode, like Lucy and Tim are taking care of Bodega, just watching that, because, there's like they call it like the end of the world is coming or whatever. And he's like looking down at his watch to see how much more time that they have, which she busts him for because he's been like roasting her all day about doing that. And he takes a bottle of whiskey off the shelf because he's like, well, we've got like enough time. And he like goes to hand it to her and she's like, I'm not a whiskey girl. So she takes like another bottle, which she never really says what it is. But
I
it
would assume it's vodka just 'cause it's
yeah,
clear, but maybe not. I don't know.
yeah. Um, and I don't know, when he like went to like go hand it to her, I was like, oh, like you're so polite. You've went soft for her before and now you're all polite. Like, what a gentleman. Um, So then like they cheers to the end of the world. Um and their eye contact and just like soft smiles and looks to each other just sends me on a downward spiral. Like that's pretty much all of the Chenford moments in that episode, but it's enough. Like it's enough at that point because they're there. Like we already had 120 happen and 201. So like we've seen Tim kind of in danger and like how Lucy like helps him through that. Um, but then like to see them both kind of like come to terms with it, even though it never like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of see them like come to terms with it and you know, just like be together in that situation was something truly special for the Rookie fandom.
Yeah. I just like how later on, even like, Tim's still kind of just like lying to me on your last, day on Earth is not a good look.
Yeah.
And just, and then like he helps distract her from kind of like thinking about it by, how would you crash the wedding or whatever. And so like that was always fun. I enjoyed like how the camera stayed on Tim mostly to like as he's listening to all the things that Lucy would do. And yeah. And he actually like offered help too, because he was like, I might know a guy that can do this, that, and the other thing. And like,
yeah,
he never offers help. Well, okay, at least not like really at that, like by that episode.
right.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Like thinking about that episode, I'm thinking of like other underrated Chenford moments, and I'm thinking of when they're like at the diner or something, or at least Tim is, and you know, like Lucy has to go back out on the call or whatever. I'm totally blanking on the episode right now, but I want to say that it's like season 2, but I feel like it's before Dave death. I don't know, because she's still kind of like in her like, oh, like I'm not gonna, like sass back to him that much. Like I'm kind of like my meek self. But yeah, I don't remember which one that was. I'm totally blanking on the episode.
They're both sitting in a diner.
Yeah. Aren't they like eating fries or something? Or he is at least. And then they have to like go or something. Or am I like totally imagining this?
The only thing I can think of that sort of matches would be, I believe it's 102. I think.
Okay.
When like she has to go run, and then he's like,
Yeah.
you got legs, so like go run and get this person, and then she like doesn't finish her food.
Yeah.
And he like he ate the rest of her French fries.
Okay. Yeah. That's what it is then. That's what it is. Because I feel like there was another moment for them where he was just like, it was probably the pilot, because it's probably, I feel like it's in that scene in our like outro where he's like, go get him, Boot, and she's just like, oh, like you mean me, okay, I'm gonna go now. Like I don't know, I just love like her flustered looks and her flustered like moments, and then especially just because like she's so new on the job and she's like, I'm gonna do everything that he says that I should do.
Yeah.
But
yep.
Yeah, I don't really know how we got to that, but those are just a few other underrated moments. I mean, like I said, like this is just our favorite underrated moments. Like there are so many more, and probably ones that like we haven't picked up on in like our second, third, fourth rewatches. So I mean, if you guys have any other like underrated moments that you want to share, like tweet them to us. Like we would love to see them, because there's probably some that we've missed out on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to go over your next underrated
yeah,
moment?
I mean, my next one, I mean, like I really like 202 as well, like the audiobook scene, but trying to, switch it up. I also, I mean, like just 203, I mean, that episode in general is really good. It's, it's the bet one, which honestly, I mean, even I had put in this outline like the end of the episode. But really even like when they're making the bet is like kind of an underrated scene that that I don't see talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Just because it's like they're like leaning in and getting like closer to each other with like every little like back and forth that they do, which is just fun. I think it's just because of their height difference too. It's just like, because Lucy's trying to like, be all like, no, like I can set you up, like it's fine. And Tim's just like, no, like no. But like I don't know. I like the end just because like Tim isn't one to really, I don't know, like because he's usually like in control and stuff, and like so for like Lucy to like just like drop in and then like happen to walk in when he walks out in a towel is just like kind of funny. And I just enjoy the like tiniest littlest smirk that she has as she kind of just like walks out after she's like short sleeves and then gets to leave all excited, whereas Tim is frowning and kind of like
shirtless.
Well, I mean that, yes, but he's kind of just like that little, like kind of just playfully upset, like, because he's not actually mad, but it's just funny that she was right, and so she wins the bet, which is cool because then we get short sleeves for everyone. So
yeah, I do love because in season 4 like we had a bet 2.0 episode with them, and I love that they were like all in, but then they even like had Gray help them too, kind of in the beginning. So the competition between them is funny too, like because even in the ACH episode, like, or no, it was Poetic Justice. Lucy's like, oh, I have to text Tim that like we're totally gonna kick his butt or whatever. And just like the competition between them is just too good.
Yeah, oh my god, I love that part though, because like literally John and Nyla both are just like, just leave because they're like, okay, we're just gonna let her be.
Yeah.
And text him and that's gonna be fine. But like we have actual work to do.
Right.
So it's just fun. And I always love when people just like gift that moment too, because you can like see the look exchange between John and Nyla. So
yeah. And then kind of speaking of another date looking moment with Chenford, at least like how I interpret it, is 213. So it's kind of like the end of the episode. I noticed that a lot of the Chenford moments happen at the end of the episode, which is like very on par. I feel like.
Although, see, then you got the season 4 finale with the like epic moment of the kiss happening, and
it was like in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
Same with the hug though in 401.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they do keep us on our toes. I mean, these like I just so happen to choose underrated moments that like all happened at the end of the episode. Like the audiobook did, the 213 moment, 206, or no, 206 didn't. 403, like they just happened to end at the end of the episode, which was really odd for me. So but yeah, so 213, like, when they're like starting off their day. I noticed this on my rewatch this time, but I hadn't before, of like Tim opening the bakery door for Lucy. Like it's a small moment, not very much, but then like, but it's everything obviously. But then her face when she looks at him, like just hard eye galore, like hard eyes 1,000 times. And so Lucy's like asking about the sergeant's exam, like a good girlfriend, I mean friend that she is. And Tim's like, just kind of talking to her about it, and she's listening intently. But then like jump to the end of the episode when they're standing across the corner, like across the street from Nevin's bakery, and they see like Smitty walking outside with a bunch of other cops and donuts, like all in tow. And apparently it was Tim's idea to make it like the hit bakery for cups and donuts, and Lucy's just like in awe of it. Like her eyes and like the glimmer in her eyes when she's looking at him, chef's kiss. And Tim's just like, yeah, Markel like won't think twice about laundering money there. And Lucy's just like, she's just in awe. Like her an awe expression of him is probably one of my favorite things ever. Like that is one of my favorite stills. That is one of my favorite gifts. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just like I love that moment for Chunford, and it's not even like a huge moment. It's just like she's kind of realizing like how much of a good person that he is. Um, and you know, like he drops the bomb that he's not moving to North Hollywood just yet to be a sergeant, and she thinks that it's because he's holding out for Malibu, but he's like, you know, I haven't finished training you yet, and I always finish what I start. And she's just kind of speechless again, and there's soft gazes to each other. Like my heart is bursting. I mean, if we didn't already start shipping them after Day of Death, we definitely did after this episode. Like just their looks to each other, just
Yeah.
chef's kiss. I don't even know how much more I can say about it. But then like even like her little giggle like after they start like walking or whatever,
Yeah.
because
That's
she
like my favorite part of the whole thing is like the end
yeah,
where they like walk off because
yeah,
he is like he's just like yeah, and then like turns his head to like motion her to
yeah.
walk alongside him.
And it literally looks like they just had like a date or something, to me at least. It just is so cute. So yeah. Um, but I mean, season 2 was like Chunford glory, man. Like we had
Mhm.
Dave Death in there. We had like, I mean, we had 213, we had 206, we had, you know,
Yeah.
now and then after with, you know, her kind of in the gym and him, you know, giving the whole speech. So
hmm I
you
think I
have
put that for like my favorite season on like the
mhm,
rookie rewatches, like little favorites or like this or that or something. I can't remember what it
mhm.
was, but yeah.
Yeah, we even had like shirtless Tim, like in a towel. So, and then you had another Chunford
Yeah.
season 2 moment.
For like 214, I just really liked Lucy's mini speech, I guess, just when she's like, that's the most, Tim Bradford thing I've ever heard. Cause he like, she's like, you showed humanity. Like, there's nothing that he should be like apologizing for or like feel bad for. And of course, that's where we get the, um, some things matter more um, line as well, which is always good. Just because it's like you can, again, it's one of their night scenes. Apparently, I picked a few of their night scenes, but like you can still tell, like I don't know. I just enjoy things like that, like just the way the light hits and like half their face is like shadowed, but you can still tell that like they're still looking at each other and they're in Tim's truck, which is always fun to see. And just yeah, it's just I don't know. I just like that moment because like I don't know. I guess Jennifer, you had mentioned it earlier, like that Lucy's kind of like just really gutsy and like she just says like what she thinks
Mhm.
and is able to get through to him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we we all knew that Lucy was gutsy anyway. Like season 1, episode 1, like she comes in with the guy like face down on the counter because she's made her first arrest. And I mean, Graven labels her the hot job. Like
Mhm.
we all knew she was gutsy, but like Tim even knew like in the beginning, but it kind of took him like a little bit longer to like come around to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like now he's just like he likes it. He has to.
Mhm.
Yeah. The last like Chenford underrated moment that I had, and it's probably not even that much of an underrated moment. Like it definitely wasn't after the episode. But like after their hug, the kiss, and like Dave Death has all happened. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's not in like the top big moments. But it's 403 when he asks her to be his gopher. But again, she's kind of gutsy and she's like, I'll go up and ask him myself. Like, I don't care. And you know, like he's told that he should take on a sergeant's aide, and Gray's like, just get Lucy to do it. Like, it's no big deal. His entire face in this episode, like his expressions, I think of the gif of the woman, and like it's all of those like equations in front of her,
Oh
and
my
she's
god,
just trying to
I
like
literally
figure
was
stuff
thinking
out.
the exact same thing. I was
Yeah.
literally gonna say math equations.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it.
That, or the Katie Heron Mean Girls gif where she's just like, the limit does not exist, like, you know,
Yeah.
and she's just kind of confused. Those were the two gifs that I thought of this entire episode.
Yeah.
And John Nolan is usually a meme, which he was a meme in this episode.
Oh, for sure, because he's the one that like hears it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
the
and he's
combo
even
and then
like,
ducks behind the locker or whatever.
yeah, his face when he heard it, I was like, dude, when are you never not a meme? But I mean, even in this episode, he's like, when did I become the punchline? And I'm like, you always are. Like, I don't know why you're asking this question. But if you want to hear our full recap on this episode, go check it out. Because season 4, the you know, 3rd episode, perfect, chef's kiss. But yeah, for the Chenford moments, when Nolan like tells Lucy that like, you know, Tim's gonna pick her as his aide and everything, I didn't catch this on the first few rewatches, but like she asks, you know, like me specifically, and then the camera like goes over to Nyla and Aaron. But you know, like her face after, like it's just all hard eyes from her. Like she's just, and she's got that like, she's the blushing emoji in that moment. So then like comes into the roll call room. Their eye contact is like off the charts, man. Like we don't totally see it because the camera is always like, if it's Lucy looking at Tim, the camera is next to Tim or whatever, or next to Eric, and vice versa. But I mean, it's just assumed that their gaze is targeted towards the other one. And Webb just so happens to be sitting behind Lucy. So like when Tim, you know, calls out who his sergeant's aide is going to be, you know, Tim is looking at Lucy, but he calls out Webb's name just to like screw with her. And so she's like fidgeting in her seat like a child who didn't get her way. And it was cute. I mean that in the nicest way, is like, as far as like her just kind of acting like a child who just didn't get her way. And Nolan even kind of says that later on to Nyla, when Nyla's like, I'm surprised that Bradford didn't pick Lucy to be his, you know, aide or whatever. Like Nyla and John are even catching on to this. And John's just like, yeah, she's not really taking it in like the adult way. But you know, it's still cute to like see her kind of just like struggle with this in a way, and kind of just like mope in it, and dwell on it. So then like Lucy is asking Nolan like, why didn't he pick me? And I don't know, the way that her voice cracked, and she kind of acted like a child again, like it reminded me of when like a 4-year-old keeps asking why they can't have something. Like, why can't I have that? Why can't I do that? Like it just reminded me of that. And it was just really cute and adorable. And like the fact that she was talking to Nolan about that and going on like that with Nolan, I thought was really interesting. But I mean, in season 4, they've shown that they are like good friends. So then like Chenford, you know, obviously they just know each other so well, and it is season 4 at this point, so they really know each other. But you know, like Lucy thought that Tim was missing her so much, and you know, when Webb asks what his cat personality is, Tim's just like, that's Lucy. And honestly, just soulmates right there. Soulmates. So then when Tim like walks up to Lucy in the roll call room and, you know, says like, if she wants the job, all she has to do is ask, her straight face and like what reply is just so funny, because you know that she just wants to like, you know, kind of like carry on with the flirty banter or whatever. But you know, she just has to kind of like keep her cool. And as she walks away, like you can see that he's flustered, because she's like, well, if you know you want me to be your aide, all you have to do is ask me. And you know, you can see that he's like all flustered as she walks away. And then Gray comes in, so like they have to get started, obviously. And Tim's standing up there and just looks like, what do I do? Like, she just called me out. And this is where I'm like, he has the face and totally like portrays the gif of the woman with the equations all in front of her. And then Tim's just, I mean, his expressions in the roll call room, like, they're all so soft, yet like he knows what he's doing to her and teasing her, like, because he's looking her way, like he's kind of like kind of doing his like a twirl or something. He's just like totally got it bad for her, but like he knows what he's doing, like he's teasing her. So then of course the end of the episode is the best. And Lucy just decides to be bold and question Tim on like why Smitty isn't doing the paperwork, because Smitty was the second aide. And she's just like, you should have just asked me, like I would be doing your paperwork with no questions asked. And he says that he was like looking out for her, and well, she appreciates that she just wants to be his aide. And she kind of gives her stance on it, as far as like she thinks it'll help her stand out when it comes to promotion time, and that alone makes it all worth it, like going through his sim test again. And so then like he's like crossing his arms, and it's just like, are you saying that you want the job? And she's like, she does the same, she mimics him, which I wonder if that was like a Malaric thing, or if that was written in the script.
I don't know. They do like everything.
Yeah.
I think, even when they don't mean to. So
Yeah. I don't know. It was interesting. But she kind of like mimics him, and she's like, if you're saying you want me to do it, like, sure. And she's like wearing her ring and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, I loved how he was like watching out for her and just wants what's best. But like, I mean, we've seen this a couple of times in season 4, like, and it shows his growth. And he's always been like this about her, but he's never out and out like expressed it. So it was just interesting to see like how he's grown, and how he just like wants to make sure that like she is comfortable, and like he's not doing anything to like stifle her job. So
yeah.
I don't know. I love like how annoyed and put off he seems by her, but like on the inside that he's just like growing to love it. Like he's, like I've said before, he's got it bad for her.
Totally.
Like he hates the little things that she does, but like he's also like, I'm gonna do it because secretly I love it and her. Like, and his looks to her, comebacks, sassy comebacks, like it's all just a tactic and cover up to hide his true feelings for her, I think.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We have cracked the code on who Tim Bradford is.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we have any other notes on this episode? We just kind of like winged it in a way. Like we're just
You talk about winging it. I literally have like 0 notes. I literally just have the episode numbers and what happened, and I was just like,
we're just like, what else can we talk about that's Chenford related for Chenford week? Because we've already covered like their big episodes. So
right.
Yeah, I'm just like,
I just thought this would be fun and like a little bit different, and yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. You can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at jstark804.
And I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And we will be back next week with a new episode recapping 218. So yeah, we will talk to everyone then. Bye guys.
Bye.
Go get him, boo.